morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Blue Ridge Silverhound radio show. Hey, it just has a nice ring to it. All right, so what I love most about forum chat pages is you get to have live conversations with other people that are very much into coin collecting as you and I. All right. There's a lot of things positive. There are a few things negative. Of course, there's going to be kind of like this wide array of various different types of personalities and kind of like perspectives on coins. However, and this came up as kind of like one of those things that's like, yellow highlighted and it sticks out like you wouldn't believe. But yeah, you go on these forum chat pages. I go on there every morning. I look at some of the feeds. I look at what people are discussing and talking about. And this individual just threw it out there. And by the way, some of these forum sites have their own dedicated coin roll hunting actual sub forum, which is cool. So if you're just into coin roll hunting, you could go on there and just kind of like develop, relationships with some of these people that are doing the same thing that everybody else is doing. Is it worth the effort to search anything but halves, half dollars? All right. That's a pretty kind of like right in your face kind of broad statement, question rather, regarding, coin roll hunting. All right. And it's like, bam, it's right there. So if so, what? I went to my campus bank today and picked up $17.50 worth of halves, including two 40% silvers. Congratulations. It's not bad. But that's all they have, and most likely all they will ever have. So if I want to get my coin roll hunting fix, I'll have to switch to other denominations. But is it even worth the time? What's the second best coin roll hunting denomination, if any? So that's the question of the day. And I want to hear everybody's thoughts on this matter, not just mine, because people have varying degrees of expertise and maybe lack thereof when it comes to coin roll hunting. It's not like it's something that you have to go to, finish a 4-year degree to get an idea of what coin roll hunting is and what it has to offer. Now, the main reason why most folks gravitate towards half dollars, it's real simple. Okay, everybody's hung up on precious metals and just having the actual physical metal in your hands is what drives a lot of people, especially those that want to do coin roll hunting as a means to finding some sort of financial gain in it all. Okay, it's kind of like the low-hanging fruit in coin collecting. If you can find a silver and you get it, then you would consider yourself up in that matter. But is it the only option for people who are looking for that kind of like thrill-seeking chase piece? It's not the only option. What I like to tell people, even though you're going to coin roll hunting, again, it's kind of like the easiest access type of coin that you could get for the lowest amount of money, in this case, face value. Half dollars, by the way, are not cheap. Okay, I think they come in $500 and $1,000 case boxes. I've seen both. But the amount of money you put into it, keep in mind, it's almost like house money, because you're only tapping into your funds to get the coins, but you have that kind of money that's going back to the bank once you decide to drop it off, whenever that is. But what I like to tell a lot of folks, if you're able to, is to start doing some research, really educate yourself. The people that read books especially, all right, end up being like really supreme geniuses in their subject field, okay? Which is why when people go to college or they go to that university, all right, they're still reading out of textbooks, while the option is there to read online and have the textbooks in a digital format, okay, which seems to be like the thing these days. Being able to sit down and take time to read one chapter of a book on the field of study that you're trying to excel in is extremely important, okay? So if you look through what is commonly referred to as the Bible of coin roll hunt, well, not only coin roll hunters, but coin collectors in general, all right, the Red Book Price Guide is bar none the best reference to get for the amount of money that, you know, is stated for the purchase price. In this case, this is $15.95, but you could get these for a little bit cheaper through like Amazon. And I also have links down below. If you do not have an issue of the Redbook price guide, utilize your Amazon Prime and get one shipping free. But this is a book. If you were going to get into coin collecting as a hobby, or, you know, as a kind of like a profit center, you know, in your future kind of like side hustle, you know, if that makes any sense in this kind of case, getting this book is the number one go-to guide. Okay, you're gonna have this on you all the time. You'll find that you're gonna be out when you know you're gonna be doing coin excursions, where you're going to the bank, coin shops, coin shows, or if you're going to meet up with someone to look at you know, in a collection, whether it's an estate or maybe a personal collection that they're ready to move on. You'll find that having this guidebook at all times is going to be almost like carrying your wallet. You know, it's going to be along those same lines as brushing your teeth in the morning, for those of you that do it, by the way. You know, you're going to have this easily accessible 24/7 every single day. I've carried the same book in my car generally everywhere I go. Okay, so even if I know I'm just going to run to the, you know, run to Target or the grocery store, I carry that book and I keep it in my center console. You know, I have it in the glove compartment or the center console. Because there are times where I need that instant access to that guidebook, okay? Now, before I got off on this long drawn out tangent on reference material, obviously it plays into where I'm going to next. Let's take a look at small cents, more specifically Lincoln pennies, okay? And we're gonna identify exactly some of the coins that you can find in other denominations other than half dollars. We're gonna start with pennies. And we're going to go from like the easiest to find, which is 1959 Lincoln Memorial coins, all the way up to 2019. I'm just going to identify a few coins here that have huge money potential. The 1960 small date, which is a Philadelphia coin. The 60D, D over D, small date over large date. It's a double die. That coin is worth a couple $100. The 69S double die, in case you haven't figured it out, if you're following CoinOps Facebook page, there's a guy that lives in California that found one, and he has graded it, and it is going into the next big Heritage Auctions coin show online. That's reported to be somewhere in the $30,000 to $40,000 range. So you guys want to still keep searching half dollars, that's fine by me, but I'd rather look for stuff like this. The 1970S small date, 71 doubled die obverse, 72 double die obverse, in which there are like 11 or 12 different die pairings. You know, they all range in value from being worth about $10 to as high as a couple $1,000s for die pairing number 4. 1983 transitional coppers, or the 1982 D small date transitional. The 1983 double die reverse Lincoln cent, and the 1984 doubled ear, the 1995 double die obverse. The 1992 in both the Philadelphia and Denver Mint close AM reverse proof variety. And then you have the trifecta of the 98, 99, and 2000 wide AM. Okay, so those are all in the red book. Okay, they're all in here as being kind of like the mainstays of Lincoln cent coin roll hunting. Okay, those are the consummate first picks of what everybody's looking for, because it is in the red guide. They are recognized cherry pickers guide varieties, and they are in the guidebook, and they're the most prominent varieties you can find. Not to mention the myriad of different errors that you could find in these coins. Okay, for example, some of the coins that are most commonly overlooked, double struck coins in collar. Okay, whether they're, you know, they're flipped over or not. Okay, those coins sell for many hundreds of dollars, if not thousands. You know, you also have some of the minor clips. If we're talking like minor errors that people look for, you have die breaks, die chips, cuds, clashes, okay, which are very prominent in the Lincoln cent series. Sometimes you'll pop off a blank planchet, right out of a bag of coin or out of a box, which, by the way, looks like this. This one is a Dunbar box. This is an actually older box, but you can get the Loomis boxes, NF strings, things like that. But what I'm trying to get to is every single denomination has their strong points. Okay, you wouldn't know it unless you have some sort of reference material, whether it's this or your online resources, to determine exactly what the other denominations have. I have seen, okay, and it varies, that people excel by looking at Lincoln pennies and Jefferson nickels, for a number of reasons. Okay, the Lincoln pennies have all the varieties. Okay, you find them. Okay, you make $5 a piece, $10 a piece. You could find 20 coins in there. That's 69S. There's a bunch of wheat cents. You never know when you come across a 1909S. I've seen it before, but if you're able to differentiate exactly the strong points of each denomination going all the way up to dollars, then that's going to be the easiest way to determining whether or not it is worth the effort to search anything other than half dollars. It's not that it is a completely honest and fine question on its face. It's nothing short-sighted. Okay, there's no such thing as a stupid question in coin collecting. Unlike finance and all that, where stupid questions can be detrimental to what you're trying to achieve. But in coin collecting, what we're trying to do, okay, we're trying to embrace the influx of newer collectors that don't know a whole heck of a lot, and trying to kind of get them up to speed of where we're at in not only the state of coin collecting but precious metals, because that matters to a lot of people. Some people are all about stacking, and if you guys haven't figured it out, the price of platinum right now is dirt cheap. So there's a lot of buzz going around, an alternative to gold. How about platinum? It's more of an industrious metal, and that's probably why it's dropped down so much. But it also provides some sort of extra opportunity in this, part of precious metals. So if you look at each sector of coin collecting, okay, in the case of coin roll hunting, all right, if you really want to know more about what it's all about, okay, you have to kind of list out all the strong points. You gotta have a guidebook. This is one. Okay, the next best thing would be the Cherry Picker's Guide. There's 2 different volumes, which highlights all the doubled dies, all of the repunchment marks, your transitionals, and that goes for every denomination from pennies all the way to dollars. A lot of people don't know that there are quite a few notable doubled dies within the $half series, but nobody ever bothers to look for it. Okay, all it takes is a little bit of time and a cheap magnifier to make it happen. And some of those missing initials reverse coins are worth money too. Okay, so it is definitely worth the effort to look at other coins. What I would personally do is not get hung up on the whole, kind of searching for silver deal when it comes to coin roll hunting, but also take time to do some research on the other denominations. Off the top of my head, the Jefferson Nickels has the business strike coins that if you find some of the nicer coins with the fully struck reverse and the full steps, those are worth money. 2009 nickels are worth money because they're kind of the modern rarity in the nickel series since the last rare coin, which was in 1950. All right, in dimes, there's a ton of various doubled dies for the 60s. And then you have the missing Philadelphia mint mark 1982, which is found in change routinely and sell for a few $100s whenever one comes up. There's also the transitional reversed 1969, 1970, and 1970D Roosevelt dimes. Okay, so that's another thing to look for. And then you have a myriad of various, there's the shattered die, obverse coins, a lot of those later die state errors that you normally see on some of those dimes, and die clashes. Those things sell for upwards of $100, $200 in most conditions, and that's not even graded. Quarters, there's a ton of stuff to look for in there as well. A lot of the same stuff carried over from the dimes. And then people are still collecting the state quarters and the America the Beautiful national parks. We have the West Point quarters out there. So quarters has kind of like took this huge jump up in the coin roll hunting kind of like hierarchy. I think $half is up there as number one, and then you have pennies and then quarters comes in at number two, and then nickels and dimes respectively, and then following up on the tail end of things is dollars. People are just not bought into the fact that dollars has a whole lot to offer for like $1,000 face, but you guys ought to check it out. But anyways, I wanted to address this one forum question. I get this all the time, and not only the forums, but also in the emails. I had 3 or 4 other emails that kind of targeted coin roll hunting and what is exactly out there to look for. Number one, okay, if you can afford $15, okay, buying a reference manual to keep on you at all times, you'll find that you'll keep reading the book and you'll read it over, and then you're going to gain all this wealth of information, okay, because that's how we're going to grow and how we're going to get more experienced in coin roll hunting and numismatics in general, okay? And then, you could use all that arsenal to your advantage if you want to turn this into a business, okay? Because the people that know is the people that grow. I just made that up, but it sounds cool. But anyways, I want to thank everyone for joining in on this quick little, coin roll hunting address announcement. Okay, remember, subscribe, hit the bell for instant notifications because I'll be doing giveaways all summer long. All right, we've already given away some silver, gave away a $20 gift card to Amazon. More to come. Come check it out. I want to thank everyone for their views and support. As always, I'm your host, Blue Ridge Silverhound. I'm Sean. You guys have a wonderful afternoon, and I'll catch you on the next one.